Hello traders and investors, I'm LA Little and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. Take a look at these markets. We're doing it from a neoclassical perspective. Each time asking ourselves what happened today, what does it tell us about the coming ones. I do a show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday, usually broadcast at before 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's archived on YouTube and it's under a channel, LA Little. I say usually because this week, kind of winding here, vacation as well as some trading. So the shows are a little bit more sporadic and not on time. So bear with me. Look back a little bit later if it's not there when you look. As far as what happened in these markets, let's look at the numbers here. So we had the S&P 500. Trades down about 0.68. If we look at the Russell, down 1.5% again. This Russell has been the weakest one lately. Remember, this was one of the stronger ones on the way up. It's the strongest on the way down as well. NASDAQ almost a point lower. NDX not as bad tonight, a little over 0.5%. Looking overseas, I'm doing a show a little bit late, so the Nikkei is trading down 2.75%. We had bonds trade up heavily today, as did the dollar. So we got bonds rallying, dollar rallying, gold rallying. Folks, looks like fear to me again. Europe also trades down. Let's pop over and look at the charts. We'll start there with the S&P 500 now. You know, we had this huge spike down, huge spike back up. Now we're getting a little tail off on the way down. If we look at the weekly chart, this time frame, what we see is a wide price spread bar. Typically, when you see those wide price spread bars, what you see happen is it contains price for some period of time. So if we look at this one back here, for example, goes sideways, contains price. Get a wide price spread bar here, you can assume that it's going to try to contain price for some period of time. When we say that, that means that the top portion of this, we're up there at the highs, and so that we could see some sort of a movement back into this range, just like we've seen elsewhere before, as price treads sideways. So S&P looks pretty good, right? Not that much damage, even though you had a pretty good pullback in a couple of other places overseas like Europe. Here's the NASDAQ, doesn't look so bad. You look at the NDX, doesn't look so bad. Didn't have the volumes here when I started on the NASDAQ. I have it here on the NDX. You can see it wasn't very much. And on the Russell, also pulls back. Now the Russell, again, pulls back the hardest, just like it did last time down, does the same thing this time down, a little bit of expansion in volume. As we come down, look at these areas here as places that you should see support. Those are going to be key places. If you don't see support there, then this thing's going to travel all the way back down again. If we look overseas, what do we see there? Where there was some pullback, but the real interesting part is over here, the bonds. Look at the bonds skyrocketing again today. If you look at the bonds, if you look at the dollar, and then if you move over and take a look at gold as well, what you're seeing is a virtual stampede into safety. It's taking place across all of these instruments, very separate, distinct instruments. Money's moving there. Market's pulling back a little bit more, and that's after the big stampede back into the market last week. Folks, people are concerned whether they believe the worst case is going to happen, that Brexit's going to be another Lehman moment. I don't know what they think, but you can see across all these assets, people are running to safety right now. I'm going to leave it at that tonight. That's where we stand. I suspect you're going to see that continue. I don't believe it's going to stop yet. And folks don't know how to interpret what's happening, and they're leaving it up to the central banks. And the question is can the central bank step in one more time, push all assets back higher again? That's what they're going to try to do. We'll see if the market votes with its feet or votes in concert with them and believes them and buys the equities again. Take care. See you next time. Good night.